Hi, welcome to Piano with Georgia. I'm Georgia and welcome to Lesson 3. In today's lesson, we'll be doing a little bit of a warm-up to review. Then we will also be working on sequences of notes, combining different patterns of your fingers, and layering together everything you've learned thus far so you can feel like you are making progress. So hop on your bench and let's get started. Let's get you warmed up. First thing we're going to do is the first thing we should do every time you sit at your instrument, and that is check your posture. You want to think about how far, use your elbows, how high, use your forearms, and where do you put your body on the bench? Sit forward, be maneuverable. Warming up, you want to make sure you have relaxation all the way from your shoulders down to your arms, and relax those hands. Do a few lifts, put them in your lap, lift them up, lap, and lift. Be relaxed. And now, the third part of your warm-up is to review your finger numbers. Hands together, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. Advanced level, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Okay, mix them up. I should quiz you. Okay, let me do that again. Wiggle finger 1. Wiggle finger 5. Wiggle finger 3. Wiggle finger 2. Wiggle finger 4. All right, good. You've got your fingers reviewed. And now, item number 4 of your warm-up is your groupings of black keys. You've got your groups of 2, you've got your groups of 3. We can also think about our ups and our downs, highs and our lows as we do this warm-up. Left hand, set up on the lowest group of 2 with fingers 2 and 3. Right hand, go ahead and set up in the middle of the piano with fingers 2 and 3. Left hand, we're going to start with you, and a 1, 2, here we go. Play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play, and you're done. Now we're going to trade directions. We're going to start high and move lower, going downward. Right hand, set up fingers 2, 3, and 4 on your highest grouping of 3. Left hand, go ahead and get ready for the trade-off in the middle of the piano. And let's go about 1, 2, ready, go. Play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play, move, play. And you're done. You've reviewed using specific finger numbers. You've also reviewed all the groups of 2 and 3 on the piano. And our final element of our warm-up is, what are the names of the white keys? First way you can do this is you can pick an alphabet letter and then find it. So let's find a C. All right, let's find an E. Let's find an F. And let's find, how about a B? Move yourself around the piano for the greatest variety in your sound. Now, the other way you can name these notes and get comfortable is to be random. Drop. What is that? Well, that looks like a G. Okay, now let's do another one. Ooh, bottom of the group of 3. That looks like an F to me. And let's do one more. Okay, top of the group of 3 black keys. That looks like a B. So now you are all warmed up. You're sitting well, you're relaxed, finger numbers are fresh in your mind, grouping of black keys fresh in your mind, and alphabet letters are also reviewed. So our new concept of the day, patterns and sequences of notes. Now we're going to start with using only 2 notes. As you combine different notes, especially within the same hand, This is an absolute invitation for tension, and that's why we're only going to use 2 notes to begin with to really guard our hand and make sure it stays relaxed. Now, you may be thinking, 2 notes? That just can't be enough to do anything interesting. Let me give you a few examples to prove to you just how compelling 2 notes can make a melody or a theme. John Williams says differently. In this theme from Jaws, millions of people became terrified of going in water, including pools. Then Beethoven, going back a little farther in history, da-da-da-dum, the Fifth Symphony theme. I think most people know that, even people who don't really pay attention to classical music. Another one from Beethoven. Do you hear the rest of it in your head? Für Elise, one of the most famous piano pieces of all time. Finally, all right, if you imagined Mike Myers and Halloween, John Carpenter created this little theme, which, it's so cool sounding, right?
So cool sounding.
So there's so many different themes you can create with only 2 notes. So let's create some of your own. Take your right hand, make it nice and relaxed and floppy, and put your right hand thumb on a C. We're going to set up 1 finger on every note, and we're going to focus first on fingers 1 and fingers 2. We're going to play them 2 different ways. The first way, let's try this with your very loose, relaxed arm. Finger 1, finger 2. Kind of like those drops we've done before, but going from one to the other. The second way is we want to be smooth. This is called legato, and you're going to listen for that sound of your notes to actually connect with no break whatsoever. This will require more finger usage, less arm movement, and you can also use just a tiny bit of wrist to keep that transition really comfortable. Repeat that as many times as you need to just feel really comfortable. Stay relaxed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do every different finger combination of these 2 notes on your hand. First, focusing on notes right next to each other. So here we go with our next one. Fingers 2 and 3 on notes D and E. First way, floppy. Second way, close and sneaky smooth. Here we go. Fingers 2 and 3. Floppy, play D, play E. Floppy, play D, play E. Stay close, be smooth. D, E. Slight move in the wrist keeps you loose. D, E. And now you guessed it. We're going to do fingers 3 and 4. Keep focusing on 2 ways. Loose and floppy, louder, dropping feel, close, smooth, sneaky feel. So here we go. Fingers 3 and 4 on E to F. And now, smooth. And now we will move to probably the least comfortable fingers on your hand, fingers 4 and 5, especially finger 4. But these 2 fingers are very, very important, especially later when you're voicing melodies, playing things you want to stand out. There's a special muscle on the side of your hand right here. And actually, as you play more, you can flex that guy and show it off. Yeah. So here we go. Fingers 4 and 5 are 2 ways, loose and floppy. Now, close and sneaky. As you do this one, you can maybe try not to look at your hand and just feel it. And I looked at my hand, couldn't help myself. All of these same things need to be done with your left hand. Left hand, let's set up finger 5 on C, and let's go through same drill. You will experience the same sensation. Fingers 4 and 5 will probably be your hardest transition there. So let's go through them. Left hand, here we go. We're going to do separated way, 5 and 4 on C and D. And now let's play them legato or smooth. Fingers 4 and 3. Let's do them first loose and floppy, and then legato and smooth. Now legato and smooth. And now we will do fingers 3 and 2, loose and floppy. Now we will do them sneaky, legato. And finally, fingers 2 and 1, loose and floppy. And last but not least, fingers 2 and 1, smooth. We've played a lot of different finger combinations, sounds right next to each other on the piano. Those are going to be all over the place. There are also notes that aren't right in a row, different distances, and all these different distances, they have different sounds that are all very special. Now let's try some different distances of notes. Right hand, put your hand up with your thumb on C, and instead of going from finger 1 to 2, let's go from finger 1 to 3. Again, you can be separated or you can be smooth. Separated, be loose and floppy. Smooth or legato. Just play that a few times. Notice how differently you move depending on if you're being smooth or if you're bouncy. If you're bouncy, even if I don't bounce far, I'm still using a lot of arm. If I'm smooth, notice how I kind of start using my wrist a little bit side to side. We call this rotation or the doorknob. It's like opening a doorknob. It keeps you super, super relaxed. There is nothing wrong with moving your hand a bit sideways. In fact, we want to. So, staccato is the name of our short, bouncy sound. Legato. And now fingers 1 and 4, again finger 4 can tend to be problematic. So just think about how you move, keep it relaxed. 1 and 4 can be bouncy with lots of arm. And it sounds so cool, right?
Right?
It can also be smooth. Use wrist rotation. Use wrist up and down. If you're using all finger, you may experience a finger 5 raised up there. That is just a warning that I'm tense. Don't be tense. Go relax and do whatever you need to do to help that finger stay relaxed. And finally, fingers 1 to 5. My favorite, well, one of my favorite combinations. I just like this sound. We are going to do bouncy staccatos, and we are also now be smooth. Use wrist rotation. This one feels really great with wrist rotation. Now switch, use wrist up and down. All these different ways of moving. They're very good. And left hand. We got to do all this with you too. Otherwise it just wouldn't be fair and your left hand wouldn't get strong. Left hand, let's set up with your thumb on G, finger 5 on C, and that way we're covering the same notes right hand did. First, let's do bouncy. Now, let's do smooth with your wrist rotation. Now let's do smooth with wrist up and down. Last but not least, let's just play it with finger. If this causes more tension in your hand, just notice it and notice how the different ways you use your arm and your wrist versus your finger feel. And now let's do fingers 1 and 4 of left hand. This will be a G and a D. Let's do bouncy. Smooth with rotation. Smooth with wrist. And finally, all finger. Keeping your hand relaxed can be challenging. Keep focusing on that. And let's switch to fingers 1 and 5. Bouncy. smooth with wrist rotation, legato, and smooth with wrist up down. And finally, all finger. Stay relaxed. And now it is time to take all these different distances, different sounds, and make some music. Before we do, here's just a couple of tips. When you're playing something more complicated in one hand, right or left, the other hand simply holds notes or does something very simple. Both hands are engaged, but not doing too complicated things at the same time. Another way to keep things comfortable as you get both hands involved is to alternate hands instead of playing them at the same time. Left hand plays something, right hand plays something, back and forth like playing catch. And this will also make things easier. Let's set up your right hand on a C position. Let's set up your left hand on your C position. So this is exactly the same as your exercise. Left hand, let's play back and forth between C and G, just doing a 2-note combo. You can do this smooth, you can do this bouncy, and this is just an idea. Here, this is all about you. I'm just giving you ideas. Take these ideas, then go off the rails. Okay, here we go. Bouncy. I'm actually going to be smooth. Right hand, meanwhile, hold a note. Do a few rotations. Maybe right hand switches to different notes. Now, if even that seemed like too much, just simplify. Use longer right hand sounds. Maybe you just play the same sound. Use different volumes. That makes it more interesting. Find interest with some rhythms. Just not switching notes can make that more interesting. Or maybe we do something cool in your right hand. And left hand, I'm just going to play you and hold. I can do 2-note combos. I can do maybe this. But right hand could do something kind of reminds you of your exercise, but it sounds much more like a song. As you make your music with more and more sounds, you can also use the pedal. The pedal will help all of these sounds hold, so your hands feel more freedom to play something and then let it go, which can give you a whole lot more variety in your sounds. Maybe left hand, right hand, you copy the same distance. I'm keeping left hand the same place, but I'm moving my right hand to a wide variety of places. Or maybe I keep my right hand still, and I move my left hand. Just 2 notes. You can get it louder. You can get softer. A final idea for some variety in your experimentation would be to switch hand positions. So instead of just covering C, D, E, F, G, maybe we crawl those hands down a bit and we instead cover the notes A, B, C, D, E. Now here you can do those same ideas where left hand plays and then right hand plays. Get a whole lot of different sounds when you move to a different spot. Now, if all of this was really easy for you, start using both hands simultaneously, playing more notes, and moving more. Those 3 things will definitely make whatever you're doing harder. Maybe you set your hands up like on this C position and you jump them together. Now you're having to aim and you're having to think. Or maybe you do something that's different at the same time. That's even more challenging. So left hand, I could do something like our little back and forth pattern here. Right hand, I could do all my finger groups. My melody is definitely more complicated. It's much more challenging for your muscle. You can also experiment with adding some black keys, see what that does. Don't worry too much about what you're doing. Just try things and see what you like. Be a piano explorer, stay as long as you can, and experiment with different distances, moving to different places on your piano. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. I hope these lessons are helping you find more joy in your music making.